Hello everyone! Hi, I'm Rachel and welcome to my channel Book and Bloom. Today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Newbie Tag. I'm finally making this video now. I feel like this will be a good way to kind of introduce myself. I realize I haven't even been saying my name in my videos, so I'm Rachel. Just a little bit about me. I'm 22 and I'm currently a student, and this fall I'm going to be pursuing English, and I'm just really excited because I'm finally pursuing what I really want to do. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me, but let's go ahead and get into this tag. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? There's of course, the common answer that you see that, I love to read and I love books. So what better way to be able to enjoy that and also combine my love of books with a creative outlet like YouTube. This is actually not my first YouTube channel. When I was a kid, I had a channel, and then like middle school, high school, I made a different type of channel. But this is my first time being in front of the camera. I'm a creative, that's what I want to do for my career, is to be a writer and to create worlds and stories and characters. I just have to have some sort of outlet to create, and I love being able to share my creations with other people. Writing is such a solitary thing. Even though I do share my writing with my friends, there's still so much that I feel like I can't share because it's just not ready. So having other outlets to create that I can share, like videos like this, is just it just fills my soul. And I'm just I just love the process of making videos. I mean, as I said earlier, this is not my first rodeo. I know the process of filming something, editing, making thumbnails, and so I just love everything that's involved with making videos, but this will be a new adventure making videos like this. Having a way to geek out on books, to share some of my favorite books that have just changed my life in little ways, or just inspired me, books that I feel like deserve more love. Hopefully find other readers like myself that want to not just read a book, but to learn something from it, to take something away from it. That's why I named my channel Book and Bloom. I don't want to just talk about books and talk about, oh, I like this one, oh, I don't like this one. What makes a book good? Why? Why do I like certain things in books and why do I dislike other things in books? I feel like I'll learn so much from that process of just how to strengthen my own writing, so that hopefully I can make a book that really speaks to people. So the next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So for me, I am a variety reader for sure. I am a mood reader, so I love everything. I love almost every genre. There's a few genres that I haven't really dived too much in, but I'm always interested in reading new books and pushing myself kind of out of my reading comfort zone. So I definitely think that that is kind of a unique thing that I can bring to the table. There's definitely the books that draw people in because of popularity, any kind of book talk sort of book. I'm kind of a grandma, so because reading is such an expensive hobby at times, I don't usually read the newest kind of books. I don't even have TikTok. I know that means I'm weird, but I don't care. I always get my books from the library because it's just a great way to see if you like a book before you invest in buying it. I can definitely bring some, tips and tricks of how you can enjoy reading just as much without spending tons of money. So because of the way that I like to read and how I like to borrow books from the library and thrift, get books on sale, things like that, in order to enjoy reading as much as I can but also save a lot of money, I do feel like I find a lot of hidden gems that get overlooked because everyone's talking about these trendy TikTok sort of books, book talk books. I feel like that can get kind of boring sometimes. Sometimes you want something more out of the box, and because I'm a writer, I could kind of point out kind of fun things about writing and just kind of a different perspective than just a normal reader. I love things like, you know, kind of productivity and just learning how to like read more effectively and read more, and just like the process of goal setting and all of that kind of stuff, and diving into some research about like, you know, what happens in our brains when we read, just interesting things like that. So I definitely would love to make videos like that. And then with that, I love book journaling, so I definitely want to make some fun like vlog videos where I book journal or read, like reading vlogs. There's not a lot of people that talk about like utilizing resources that are free so that you can read more books and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on your books. I just think that people just forgot about the library. Like, the library is so awesome. There's like free ebooks and audiobooks. They have like apps and all sorts of programs and reading clubs and all sorts of things through the library. So that might be kind of a unique thing that I can bring to the table, is just making people more aware of resources that are accessible and free to use, or inexpensive to use, so that you can enjoy reading and you don't have to worry about like spending all your money on books. Like, as much as we would love to do that, you know, sometimes you have to buy food. Sometimes you have to pay your bills. Sometimes you have to pay off your student debt, or, you know, pay for boring things like car repairs or something. Moving on, the next question is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? So number one for me, what I'm most excited about is definitely creating a community that we just like share, you know, what we're reading and why we love it and what we're learning. I love to find people that love what I have to say about books and love what I create on YouTube, and be willing to support my other creative endeavors like my future book one day. Making these videos is going to make me be more reflective and intentional when I read a book, because if I have to talk about it afterwards, and if I get questions about like, oh, what do you think about this book, or what type of book would you recommend for the situation, or whatever, being encouraged to do that when I read will be really helpful, because I don't want to just make a video where I say like, I like this book, that's it. Like, not talk about why I like it, what it's about, or like be able to identify like what made it so good. The next question is, why do you love reading? So I love reading because it keeps your imagination alive. I think that is so important nowadays, because other forms of media are kind of like passive, you know, you just watch it, you just listen to it. You can pay attention or not, but like it's going on without you. It's passive. But like reading is an active form of entertainment. You have to focus, get your mind off of your thoughts, and that can be tricky sometimes, but that process, I think it's just so necessary. For me personally, like stuck in my thoughts a lot of times. In order to read, I have to let go of all that, and I have to just focus on what I'm reading. And I've heard reading described as forced meditation, and I just think that that is just so accurate. Being able to live vicariously like through other people's experiences, and even just fictional stories. I remember there was some research that said that your brain experiences it as if you were actually doing the things that you're reading about, which is so crazy. It gives you a lot more empathy. You feel like you get to go on an adventure. I usually feel more guilty when I spend my time doing other forms of like entertainment, you know, like watching something. I just feel like that time just kind of escapes. But at least with like reading, like I feel like I make progress because I get a chapter further, or I finish a whole book, and you get the sense of accomplishment of like, I read that book. Reading is so special because people have been doing it for so long, and that is just so magical. Like, to be able to pick up a book that has been reprinted like several times, and to think of all the people that have read this book, to think of the person who wrote the book and the time that they were living, like that is just so cool, you know? And nowadays people are writing books too, that it's still going on. Like, I think that's just so cool. That's so special. So the next question is, what book or series got you into reading? I feel like my reading taste was not good as a kid, because I read like Dork Diaries and like the Warrior series, which I think that might be an interesting video, is picking back up some of the books that I loved as a kid and judging my little self for that. That's what I liked as a kid, but I feel like the series like and the books that got me like really into reading again, which I have it right here. I recently got the new editions, but the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. This is the paperbacks that are just so beautiful. And I also have like the old ones. I have the hardcover ones. I stinking love Marissa Meyer. She's been one of my favorite authors for a long time. The series is just so fun. So like this definitely got me back into reading it, particularly rereading this books. And even though it's a polarizing series, I do love the Selection series. Probably love it because of the time that I was reading it in. That's another factor that I just feel like you don't always think about when you read something or just experience something for the first time. Like certain ages I just feel like have to be more impressionable than others, and I feel like when you're like in middle school, high school, like those kind of ages, you like everything so much more. I'm sorry, you most likely don't have the best taste, and you only really like love it because of just when you were exposed to it. That's just a theory. The Selection series, even though some people hate it, I love that series. I don't like the newer ones where it's like her daughter. I don't really like those as much. The trilogy, the original trilogy, love those books. And then Agatha Christie, kind of an odd combination, but Agatha Christie, I got into reading her mysteries, and now I have a whole like collection of like her cool paperbacks from like, I don't know, some of those are really old and they're well loved, so a lot of them are falling apart, but they have like the coolest covers ever in my opinion. There's something fun about reading an old book, you know, and just thinking about like, wow, like this has been around for so long, and it feels like you're time traveling almost, because you get to experience the time period that it was written in. Of course, murder mystery is so fun. Come up with your own theories and stuff like that. Like, I love my girl Agatha. Love her. She's awesome. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Oddly enough, I don't actually watch that much booktube, which is funny. I just watch a little bit of everything, so booktube is in the mix, but I don't have like a ton of like favorite booktubers. Haley Pham is definitely, I would say she's my favorite booktuber. It feels like a dramatic question, but what book changed your life that you've learned something from, that you've taken away something from it and you've applied it to your own life? Maybe changed your perspective on something, or just made you grow or change in some sort of way, because I've definitely had those kind of books in my life. That would just be really interesting and really fun to learn about. So the next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I definitely have some things that I am worried about when it comes to making booktube videos. When I start back school in the fall, if I'm not gonna be able to have like the time to make videos consistently, but I really hope that I can keep this up in some degree, because I love the idea of this, and I guess this summer I'll be able to like try it out and see if I like it and see if I want to continue doing it even being in school, but we'll see if that goes well. And I also worry about just my kind of content, because I'm not trendy, I'm a grandma, I'm not reading TikTok books. I do worry that because of that, people won't want to watch my videos. I'm sure I'm not alone in some of those areas. If you're a grandma at heart, then, you know, this might be the perfect place for you. Who knows? Okay, next question is, when did you start reading? I'm not really sure how old I was when I learned how to read, but as a kid I did enjoy reading, but I was all over the place with books, and I just never finished books really. High school, I just wanted to make it through, and so I didn't really read the books that we were supposed to read. I just read the books on Spark Notes. But oddly enough, like after high school was when I wanted to pick up those classics and those more intimidating books that I just refused to read when I was in high school because I was forced to read those books. 2019 was when I started getting back into reading after just not really reading very much at all. And then 2020 was when I became like a bookworm and I read like 50 books in a year, and ever since then I've just always had a book. 2020 was a good year to pick up a hobby if you didn't have one already. So where do you read? Oh, this is an interesting question and I was not expecting this. So I love to read before I go to bed, at least 30 minutes before I go to bed. It's just good to get off your phone before you go to sleep. I love reading outside, is like definitely my favorite place to read. My family has like a deck outside, and we have a hammock out there. We have some comfy chairs with little like outdoor cushions and stuff like that. And so I love to sit out there like in the morning when it's not too hot. Unfortunately now it's starting to get too hot because I live in the South, so summers in the South feel like hell. I guess if it is a hotter day, like reading by the pool is really fun. Also would say that another favorite place of mine to read is at coffee shops. Yes! Sometimes I'd rather just go by myself and like find a comfy seat and just sit and read at a coffee shop. Like it just hits different. And then if you could sit outside at a coffee shop, that is even better. Like a local coffee shop that I love, that has like this amazing like outdoor sitting area, and they have this big tree that just adds a nice little bit of shade and just cute lights, and it's just, oh, I love sitting out there and reading, and it's just so peaceful. So the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? Which I feel like should have been like one of the first questions in my opinion, but I feel like I talked about it earlier that I like to read like a variety. I love like sci-fi, fantasy, mysteries, thrillers, romance, you know, YA, and then like nonfiction, and like I even love picking up occasionally some kids books. There's something so warm and like comforting about those type of books. Pretty recently I read The Little Prince for the first time. You think that it's just a kid's book, but it's really deep. Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan, like C.S. Lewis's like Chronicles of Narnia, like I love those books. I still read those books. Those type of books, they feel like a hug. I feel like people think of somebody who's like well read as someone who picks up these like big bulky, you know, tomes of books, philosophical and like, you know, super deep books. But to me, a well-read person is someone who picks up like anything and everything and learns how to appreciate all types of literature, and that's what I aspire to be. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tag that I did and enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better. I would love for you guys to subscribe and join my little community here on Book and Bloom, and feel free to answer these questions yourself in the comments below. I would love to get to know you and learn about, you know, what got you into reading and what books you like to read. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Read a book and bloom on. Bye!